1 to Manhattan.
Battalion 1.
We just had a plane crash into Upper floor of the World Trade Center, transmit a second alarm, and start relocating companies into the area.
10-4, Battalion 1.
Engine 6 to Manhattan,
Engine 6.
The World Trade Center, tower number 1 is on fire. The whole outside of the building, it was just a huge explosion.
10-4, all companies stand by at this time.
There's been a second alarm on that box immediately.
10-4.
Engine 1 on Manhattan.
Engine 1-0.
Engine 1 World Trade Center, 1060. Send every available ambulance, everything you got to the World Trade Center now.
10-4, 1060 been transmitted for the World Trade Center. 1060 for the World Trade Center.
Engine 5-5 to Manhattan.
Engine 5-5.
Could you please have ambulances respond to West Street? We have several injured people on West Street here.
10-4 under 5.
Car 3 to Manhattan, okay?
Car 3, go.
Car 3 and Car 4 riding together, responding down. Transmit a 5th alarm for this box. Get us a staging area chief somewhere on West Street, okay?
10-4. Fifth alarm has been transmitted, box 8087. Fifth alarm has been transmitted, box 8087 for number 1 World Trade Center.
Marine 6 to Manhattan, urgent.
Hazmat 1 stand by, Marine 6, go.
You have a second plane into the other tower of the Trade Center, major fire.
Car 4 David, Marine 6 advising a second plane into the World Trade Center, okay?
Marine 6, that's the other tower.
That's the second tower of the World Trade Center, okay?
All units stand by unless urgent. Manhattan calling car 4 David, okay?
Okay.
Manhattan calling car 4 David.
Call 4 David, Manhattan.
Alright, be advised, you're one of the second planes that crashed into the second tower. Also be advised on the 83rd floor, room 8311, we have people trapped. Room 8311, 83rd floor. Call 4 David, acknowledge.
Call 4 David, 10-4.
Alright, 10-4. Manhattan calling car 4 David.
3 Adam to Manhattan.
3 Adam, go ahead, okay.
Yeah, I'm on the FDR drive. Definitely something hit the second tower. Approximately 2/3 of the way up. You got visible fires showing out there. Suggest to the incident commander, Fort David, to transmit a 5th alarm to Tower 2.
Manhattan calling car 4 David.
Brooklyn to Manhattan with an urgent.
Stand by and let's urgent. Manhattan calling car 4 David, K. Manhattan calling car 4 David. Manhattan calling Division 1K. Division
1K.
Division 1, be advised. 3 Adam reports that you have a second plane that crashed into the second tower about 2/3 of the way up. He recommends you transmit a 5th alarm for that tower as well.
Yeah, 10-4, go ahead, Manhattan. Proceed with your CK.
All right, 10-4.
Battalion 8, you're going into number 1 World Trade Center, okay? Number 1 World Trade.
10-4.
Other units calling Manhattan.
Brooklyn to Manhattan.
Alright, Brooklyn units calling Manhattan.
Brooklyn dispatch, urgent. People trapped 5 World Trade on the 80 floor. 3 World Trade. That's the 101 floor and the 102 floor. Manhattan receive?
That's a 10-4. Received and acknowledged.
10-4.
Banana field com. Banana field com, urgent. Banana field com.
Division 1-1 to Manhattan.
Division 11.
Yeah, do you have a message for field com?
That's 10-4. We're getting a report of people trapped. Number 5 World Trade Center on the 80 floor. Number 3 World Trade Center trapped on the 102 and the 101 floors at this time, Kate.
11-10-4. 5 World Trade Center, the 80 floor. 2 World Trade Center, the 102 and 101 floor.
That's a 10-4, Kate.
Field com received at Manhattan.
10-4 field com. Banana ladder 3-5. Banana ladder 2-5. Banana ladder 2-2. Banana engine 9-1. Banana engine 5-8.
Engine 5-8, we're on, as far as we can get to the scene, we're gonna walk now.
Go ahead, keep going.
10-4, he's going to Western Liberty, Kate.
Squad 4-1 to Manhattan.
Squad 4-1, stand by. Alright, Manhattan announcing, as for the citywide tour commander, all off-duty firefighters and all off-duty officers.
My bad
You
for
will
not
report to your
communicating that
check the
last one
station
there.
and wait further instructions. Repeating, all off-duty firefighters and all off-duty officers.
She's
You will
gonna be in the
report
back
to
of
the
the
check the
PD.
station and stand by waiting for further orders.
That thing we passed.
Yeah, we just passed it.
Man, call field com.
It's all good. We'll go back around front.
3-3 to Manhattan, urgent.
Go ahead, Kate.
One of the buildings is partially collapsed. And the whole entire area,
Transmitting the urgent, identified.
3-3, a major collapse in one of the towers.
Tower, Kate.
Tower 2, Tower 2.
The South Tower, major collapse.
10-4. Banana field com, Kate. Banana field com.
Marine 6 to Manhattan.
Stand by, Banana field com. Banana field com.
Marine 6 to Manhattan, urgent.
Marine 6.
Tower 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area.
Marine 6, 10-4, we were notified, Kate.
He said it's
Banana field
punishment
com.
because you've only done 2 really long shifts in your entire
Banana
career.
field com.
404 line out found.
240 Manhattan.
Go ahead, 240.
There's been a major collapse in the tower. The command center out here, everybody has... There was a major collapse. I'm in my rig right now.
But we notified them that there is a major collapse in the area, Kate.
Well, everybody in the area had to run. I don't know if the field com here is available. Can anybody hear me?
Go ahead.
I'm a civilian. I'm trapped inside of one of the fire trucks underneath. The collapse that just happened. Stand by. There's people close to you. I can't breathe much longer. Save me. I'm in a can't-be truck.
Hey, person transmitting the Mayday. Where are you, Kate?
I just told you. If you look at the World Trade Center, there's the North Pedestrian Bridge. I think it collapsed when that partial building just collapsed. I was on the street. I don't have much air. Please help me.
But everything else is fine.
82 I copy that. I'm gonna go look for him.
10-4. Banana field com, urgent,
like
Kate.
11 times.
I can barely breathe. Please save somebody.
Okay, the person calling for help. listen to me. You need to calm down and relax.
So,
Stand by.
thanks
We do
everybody
have
for
somebody
coming
on the
out.
way.
For our 9/11 memorial. This is the third year that Rescue and I have had the privilege of doing this with you guys, with our friends. And being the 20-year anniversary of 9/11, we certainly didn't want to miss out on it today. So we really appreciate being able to share this time with you guys.
Yeah, I agree 100%. When we had actually started talking about setting it up again and just messing around, he'd mentioned he missed having an RP home, and then he asked if there's any way we could have it up in time for this, and I'm just, what went through my head was, one way or another it's going to happen. It needs to happen. And it did. Which made me pretty happy to be able to continue this tradition that we've started. So being as it's the 20 year, some of you probably aren't old enough to remember where you were, if you're even around. But Cooper, do you remember where you were when you heard about it happening?
You know, sometimes 20 years feels like a week ago. I was in my, it was a chemistry class. I was trying to remember which science. And there was a kid that came running down the hallway screaming that a plane had crashed into the trade tower. And I turned the TV on, and apparently he was delayed because he said that. I turned the TV on just as the live coverage of the second hit happened, right in the classroom. So, yep, we locked the school down. The TV was set to the kids that had the morning announcements class were stuck in their class all day, and they were just doing every 20 minutes or so. They were doing a morning announcement style update on things. A couple of choir members came up and sang national anthem, "Proud to be American," stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember I was at work. Used to work for a company. We drilled under roads for utilities, and I was running a crew, and boss had just left the job site to go get us some stuff, and next thing I know, he comes, we're sitting in this farmer's field on the side of the highway, and he comes sliding back into this field, and like slides to a stop right by our work pit, and gets out of his truck and looks at me and signals me to shut the machines down. And to shut it down properly, it takes a few minutes, and so I started the process, and he looked at one of my other guys down there and gave him the signal just to shut it down immediately. So he hit the emergency stop on it, and I looked up there. I was like, what the hell's going on? He goes, you need to get up here and turn your radio on. So I got up, got into my truck, and turned the key on so the stereo would come on, and that also turned on my fire radio. And right as my fire radio booted up, I heard our dispatch for the county setting off everybody's tones, and I'm just like, what is going on? Because they're setting off tones for like 14 different departments. And then they came on and made an announcement saying that the World Trade Centers had been hit by planes, and that emergency management agencies across the entire country were being activated and put on alert, and they were paging all available fire personnel to report to their stations and stand by. So I told my boss, I'm like, I guess I'm heading out. Got in the truck and started heading to the station. Right as I was pulling out, he hollered at me and said, I better go get gas now because it's going to get crazy. And about the time I pulled out of the job site, my mom called telling me, she's like, have you heard what happened? I'm like, yeah, just heard it. I'm going to the station. And she said the same thing. She goes, you better go get gas. I gassed up, and I went to the fire station and met the rest of my guys there, and we sat there in the break room watching everything happen on TV and watching all the reports and just waiting to see what was next. feel like everybody else here is too young to remember where they were.
I was -5, so.
I was barely a few months old.
I was exactly 4 months old.
I was a freshman in high school.
I'm a freshman in high school.
I don't know how you made it to high school.
Me neither.
I was a freshman in high school 20 years ago when this happened.
I mean, Calder, I guess technically you were there with me.
Was I?
Oh my god.
No, I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh man, yeah, I was in my 5th grade class.
Good luck,
well,
Calder.
of
You
course,
can't ban yourself now.
I live in Washington State, so we were like still bright and early. My dad had brought me in because I was not doing so well. Yeah, I figure in 5th grade, right? And the teacher had the TV on, and the second plane had just hit. And I remember just sitting in class that whole day, and the TV was on, and it just, yeah, one of those things you'll never forget, even being so young.
You know, that's one thing they say is, you know, we'll never forget, and it's just one of those things you can't forget.
It's just one of those things you
know,
can't forget.
There's times that parts of you wishes you could, but at the same time, you don't want to because you start forgetting, and then it's all for nothing. And I'm not gonna lie, with everything that's happening in Afghanistan right now, and this being the 20th anniversary, I had a lot of fear going in today that something was going to happen again.
Yeah, I think that's crossed a lot of people's minds. It went through my head too.
Yeah, I was on Facebook this morning, and one of the pictures that came across my feed was Battalion Chief Barbara at the base of the tower. Last year, part of the speech I gave was kind of memorializing him and remembering him specifically in his part of things. And I thought it was really neat that picture of anything else that could come up had popped up, and then we were able to do this again today.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad you threw that out there to see if we could get this going in time for today, because you know, even with such a small turnout, it still felt good to be able to do it.
Even if it's you and me, we'll do something every year. I can see that.
I'll be right there. Probably drag Calder along with me too.
Probably. Drag. I'd be willing to go.
Yeah, I guess Calder has no choice anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll drag people in kicking and screaming. Hayden spoke in my stream chat, and I started giving him orders to get his butt in here.
He's not lying.
Freaking Fuzz is standing over there by his car, and I just walk up, get your uniform on.
Mrs. Cooper's probably going to leave me before next year's parade, but if I get to keep her around a little longer, maybe.
Let's be honest, I'm surprised she made it for this year.
I mean,
And that's all we know of Cooper.
The silence says it all.
Right?